better at anything you do. He makes you awesome. I know it's a little cheeky. I was going for something a bit more punchy, like go XR or go extinct. Because in 2018, every organization, every company, every startup, every investor must get into XR or be left behind. And you don't want to be late to the next wave of computing. And there's no better place to get started to understand why than right here at AWE. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's really a great moment in history of XR, so I thought of weaving into my presentation references to great moments in history, with speeches, great ads, and adapted to this occasion. In fact, here's a challenge. Whoever can catch all these hidden references and tweet about it will go home with the I Heart XR t-shirt. Sounds good? All right, here you go. I've been looking for this day for many years. Every once in a while comes along a new revolutionary technology that changes everything. And one is fortunate if he gets to work on one of these. And you guys in the room are the luckiest people because you are part of this new revolution. Thanks to you, XR is rising and it's lifting all boats. It took a long time for XR, though, to get to this overnight success. AR and VR, as you know, were invented in 1968 and were quietly brewing since then. This year, I don't know if you've noticed, XR is celebrating 50 years. And ladies and gentlemen, it's now finally set for growth. Where are we on this chart? Right here. Hey, Scotty, can we get a little closer? A little closer? You see, we are right here. This is a great spot to be because from here, it only goes up. But there's a lot of work to do because we still live in flatland. I'm of course talking about the quirky cult classic satire, a science fiction novella from 1884. Flatland is written by Expe, how fitting, who lives in flatland, a two-dimensional world. And when he goes to Lineland, a one-dimensional world, he's astonished the inhabitants are unable to experience his own perspective of reality. They literally cannot see his shape. And when Square is confronted with a three-dimensional reality, Spaceland, he can't understand it either. He refuses to understand it. The book, of course, is a metaphor, a social commentary on Victorian society. But if you think about it in our context, we do still live in flatland. We get all of our information from 2D screens. And in order to cross over to the third dimension, you need people that can actually see into the next one. And I believe the first to have that ability are right here in this room. Because most of the people outside, oh, that's too boring, huh? Most people outside still can't really see it. They tell you there is no market. They tell you there is no traction. Don't believe it. We are here on the mountain top today. And from here, we can see the promised land. And it's called Spaceland. But why do we yearn for Spaceland? Marshall McLuhan, one of the greatest thinkers of the 20th century, and probably the guy that invented or reinvented media studies, is known for the saying, the medium is the message. The idea that each medium has a different effect on the human sensorium, and as a result, can change the message. In a new book that is also trying to reinvent media from this century, The Marvelous Clouds, John Peters says, the world itself is the medium. For many millennia, humans consumed information directly from the real world, from people, places, and things. But today, in almost every task in our daily lives, we switch our attention from digital information to the real world, on average 234 times per day. I just made up that number. Doesn't it sound right? So how much time and money can we save if we eliminate that switch? What if we sync all digital information with the real world? For Lockheed, GE, Siemens, and many Fortune 1000 companies, studies are showing savings of 25, 45%, and even 85% savings. So what if we could do this for a whole nation? There's a potential to save maybe 20% of our GDP. I also made that number up, but doesn't it sound right? At the heart of this change will be something that I like to call the AR cloud, a spatial 3D map, a digital copy of the real world that allows to organize information on the world itself. The world becomes the medium. Now that we finally have AR that works, we can easily place a hologram in the real world, but it's kind of a lonely experience. You cannot share it and it's not persistent over time. The AR cloud enables to share AR experiences over time and with many users. So now, at this point in time, we finally know why we need it so much. But it's the first time where we see some startups demonstrating it's possible. But up until recently, we were struggling with just the basics. It's almost hard to remember. I found this vintage Keynote from AWE in 2010. It was still called ARE back then. It's by AWE Award winner Jesse Shell. I think it was still on a VHS tape. And it illustrates where the industry mindset was back then. Check it out.
I'm like, what is it? What's going to shine? They're like, this AR thing. I'm like, well, what do you do? They're like, well, you hold it up and there's a 3D model. I'm like, and what do you do? And they're like, you tilt it. I'm like, oh, you mean like I can flip it around? Well, no, you can tilt it kind of a certain number of degrees before it disappears.
Remember those days? We are now finally that stage. Back then, we were fools. At least that's how we felt when we were pitching to investors and brands. But now the tables are turning. If you don't realize XR is essential for your business, you may be the fool. Every business must go XR or go extinct. And what will play a big role in driving adoption is, of course, FOMO. Let me make the case. Exhibit 1A. There is general agreement among analysts that the potential of the XR industry is to hit $200 billion. They don't always agree on when, but they agree on the potential. And this is just not any analyst. We have here some of the biggest names. Exhibit B. By now, everyone has heard about AR and VR, right? We have millions using VR. How many are using AR? According to our Artillery survey, a third of all mobile users have tried AR. And within that group, over 3/4 are monthly active users. Of course, there's still a lot of people to convince, but by the end of this year or the latest next year, we could hit